When people hear top 10 air forces, many immediately think best fighters or most powerful, but in today's video we are keeping it strictly factual and measurable. We are ranking the world's top 10 by the total number of active military aircraft recorded in a widely used annual directory, and then we'll look at what those fleets actually consist of: fighters, bombers, transports, tankers, helicopters, and training aircraft, because numbers alone don't tell the whole story, and types explain what a force is designed to do. To keep this honest and simple, treat this as a fleet size and mix episode, not a claim about who would win a war, because capability depends on training, readiness, sustainment, sensors, munitions, doctrine, geography, alliances, and many other things that cannot be reduced to one list, and even fleet counts depend on definitions. What counts as active, what is in storage, what is undergoing upgrade, and what is assigned to non-military or special duties. So throughout this script, I will describe what is actually listed as active in the directory's inventory approach, and I'll also highlight the biggest categories and signature aircraft types per country so you can visualize each air arms character. At number 1, the United States dominates by scale with a total active military fleet of 13,033 aircraft, which is roughly a quarter of the world's operational military aircraft recorded in the directory. And what makes that number so massive is not only fighters, but the breadth of everything else. The United States fields a very large combat aircraft inventory, and also enormous numbers of helicopters, tankers, transports, training aircraft, and special mission platforms that allow it to operate globally. To picture it, think of layers. Frontline fighters like the F-16C X-91 and large numbers of F/A-18E F-471 in naval service, plus F-15 variants 320, F-35A 305, and additional F-35BC across services, and the F-22, 177 for air dominance backed by A-10C, 174 for close air support, and then zoom out to the enablers that many countries lack in quantity. Hundreds of refueling aircraft such as KC-135R T-376 and KC-46A 95, heavy transport like C-17 219, and large fleets of C-130 variants, C-130J 161 and C-130H 149, and a gigantic helicopter component led by the UH-60 family across roles, Tu-81 in the S-70 EH, HH, MH, UH-60 family in one service listing alone, attack helicopters like AH-64, 838, heavy lift CH-47, 494, plus additional naval and marine helicopter types. In simple words, the U.S. fleet is built not only to fight in the air, but to move, refuel, rescue, train, surveil, and sustain operations at global distance, and that's why the number is so far ahead of everyone else. At number 2, Russia is listed with 4,237 active aircraft, and the composition reflects a force that blends fast jets with a large helicopter inventory and a transport fleet that supports operations across very large territory. On the combat aircraft side, you see large counts of the Su-27 30-35 family, 407 in the Air Force listing, plus additional in naval aviation, significant numbers of Su-24, 260, and Su-34, 156 for strike, MiG-29, 35, 235, and MiG-31, 128 for fighter and interceptor roles, Su-25, 31 for ground attack, and a smaller but notable Su-57 figure, 30, listed as active, while strategic aviation shows bombers such as Tu-22M, 56, Tu-95, 44, and Tu-160, 15. Tanker numbers are much smaller than the U.S. at IL-78, 18, and the transport inventory includes a mix such as IL-76, 78, 136, and An-26, 114, among others, indicating the importance of airlift, but also the reliance on legacy Soviet-era types. The helicopter picture is especially large and diverse, led by Mi-817, 171, 776 as the workhorse family, Mi-24, 35, 322 as a long-standing attack assault type, Ka-52, 135, and Mi-28, 94 as modern attack helicopters, plus heavy Mi-26, 40, and naval aviation. Adds the Ka-27 family in substantial numbers. At number 3, China is listed with 3,529 active aircraft, and the mix tells a story of scale plus modernization, including a particularly notable increase in fifth-generation stealth fighter counts in the directory's estimates. Among combat aircraft, the listing includes J-7, 387 in the Air Force plus additional in naval aviation, J-10, 243 in the Air Force plus additional in naval aviation, J1116, Su 27 to 30-35 combined at 319, and a J20 figure set at 250 active examples in the directory's estimate, alongside H-6 bombers, 120 in the Air Force plus additional in naval aviation, plus types such as Q-5, 118, JH-7, 69 plus additional in naval aviation, and J-8, 96 plus additional in naval aviation. China's tanker force is still relatively small in the listing, YY-20, 7, and IL-78, 2, which matters because tankers multiply reach and time on station for fighters and bombers, and the directory itself notes that tanker depth is a key enabler. The transport inventory shows a growing heavy lift capability with Y-20, 34, and a substantial mid-heavy transport presence with Y-8, 80, and IL-76, 27, plus Y-7, 48, Y-9, 24, and others. On the rotary wing side, large numbers are recorded under ground and naval forces, with Mi-17 Swan 171, 242, Z-10, 106, Z-19, 175, Z-9, 92 in one service plus additional in naval aviation, and Z-8, 67 in one service plus additional in naval aviation, painting a picture of a military aviation ecosystem that is not only about fighters, but also about Army aviation and maritime aviation. At number 4, India is listed with 2,183 active aircraft, and its inventory shows a classic large country with diverse requirements pattern. Multiple fighter types, substantial helicopter lift, and an air transport fleet that must support humanitarian response, logistics, and regional mobility. The combat aircraft list includes Su-30 MKI, 265, as the heavyweight backbone, Jaguar, 124, for strike, MiG-29, 65, Mirage 2000, 44, Rafale, 35, and Tejas, 31, as an indigenous fighter presence, which is important not just for numbers, but for industrial strategy. India's tanker count is limited at IL-78, 6, which again highlights how difficult it is to build deep refueling capacity, and on transport aircraft the listing includes An-32, 101, as a key tactical lifter, Dornier 228, 62, HS-748, 54, IL-76, 17, C-295, 16, C-130J, 12, and C-17, 11, giving India both tactical and strategic lift. The helicopter element is very large, led by Mi-17, 222 as a workhorse, Dhruv ALH, Rudra 111 as a major domestic helicopter family, plus SA-3116, 319, 79, and other types, with heavy lift CH-47F, 15, and attack AH-64E, 22, adding specialized capability. At number 5, South Korea is listed with 1,140 active aircraft, and its fleet mix reflects a high readiness force built for deterrence, rapid response, and integrated operations with strong emphasis on fighters and army. Helicopters, combat aircraft include F-16C 118 as a mainstay, F-5E 65, still present in the listing, FA-50 60 as a domestically produced light fighter trainer, F-15K 59 for heavy strike and air dominance, and F-35A 38 as the stealth component. Tankers are listed as A-330 MRTT 4, enabling greater endurance and reach. Transport aircraft include CN-235, 18, C-130H, MC-130K, 12, and C-130J, 4, and then the rotary wing strength becomes very visible under the Army. MD-500, 250, Suryan KUH-1, 150, S-70 UH-60, 113, plus AH-64E, 36, and CH-47, 34, showing a strong focus on mobility and battlefield aviation in a terrain where rapid reinforcement matters. At number 6, Japan is listed with 1,429 active aircraft, and its inventory strongly reflects the demands of air defense, maritime patrol, and island geography. Fighters for quick reaction alert, tankers to extend coverage, transports for mobility, and a significant maritime aviation element. Combat aircraft include F-15J, 155 as the largest fighter line, F-2A, 62, and F-35A-B, 47 as the fifth-generation component. Tankers include 767-based KC-46A, 4, and KC-767J, 4, plus KC-130H, 2, which is a notable refueling capability for a country of Japan's size. Transports include C-2, 15, and C-130H, 14, with additional smaller jets. Helicopter numbers across services are extensive, including large maritime helicopter totals such as the SH-60 family, 106 in the Maritime Force listing, and on the ground side types like UH-1J, 120, AH-1S, 69, CH-47 variants, 65 in one listing plus additional, and MV-22, 16, which together show how Japan's defense posture blends air defense with maritime surveillance and rapid mobility across islands. At number 7, Pakistan is listed with 1,397 active aircraft, and its inventory shows a force where combat aircraft are anchored by a mix of modern fighters and older legacy types, supported by a smaller tanker and transport structure and a large helicopter, presence across Army and naval aviation. In combat aircraft, the listing includes JF-17, 126, as a major locally produced fighter line, Mirage 5, 90, and Mirage 3, 69, as legacy strike fighter assets, F-7, 72, F-16AC, 44, and J-10C, 20, as a modern addition. Tankers are listed as IL-78, 4, which is small but meaningful for extending fighter operations. Transports include C-130 variants, 23, plus smaller types like Saab, 2000, 6, and CN-235, 3, and the helicopter inventory is spread across services with large numbers such as AH-1F, 50, in the Army, Mi-18 U-171, a combined 56 across Air Force and Army listings, SA-330, 42 combined, Bell 412, 34 combined, and multiple other utility and naval helicopter types, which emphasizes the importance of rotary wing mobility for internal security, logistics, and tactical operations. At number 8, Turkey is listed with 1,101 active aircraft, and its mix reflects a force built around multi-role fighters, tactical transport, and a substantial Army helicopter component. Combat aircraft show F-16C 153 as the principal fighter and F-4E 48 still listed, while tankers include KC-135R 7, which is a significant enabler for regional reach. Transport aircraft include CN-235, 41, C-130BE 18, and A-400M 10, supporting both military logistics and the ability to respond to crises. Helicopter strength is very large across Army and Air Force, including UH-1H 141 combined, Bell 205 68, ST-70 67 combined, T-129 attack helicopters 58, AH-1 variants 53, plus naval S-70 24, showing how Turkish military aviation is not only jets, but also a dense rotary wing force for mobility and battlefield support. At number 9, Egypt is listed with 1,088 active aircraft, and the inventory highlights a diverse fleet with multiple fighter origins and a large helicopter and training structure. Combat aircraft include F-16AC 168 as the backbone, Mirage 5 75, MiG-29 31, Rafale 28, Mirage 2000 15, plus smaller numbers of other combat-capable types, reflecting a long-standing approach of diversifying suppliers. On transport aircraft, Egypt lists C-130H 22 and C-295 22 as key airlifters, with additional smaller numbers such as AN-74 and IL-76. The helicopter inventory is very large and varied, including SA-342 89, Mi-817 62, AH-64D 46, Ka-52 46, plus CH-47 19 and other types, underlining the importance of rotary wing capability for a country with large territory, border security needs, and regional commitments. At number 10, France is listed with 973 active aircraft, and while it is 10th by total fleet size, its aircraft mix shows a modern combat focus supported by strategic enablers like tankers and airlift, plus a large helicopter inventory across services. Combat aircraft include Rafale BC 105 and Rafale M 41 in naval aviation, plus Mirage 2000D 52 and Mirage 2005F 25, indicating a transition period where Rafale is central but Mirage variants. Remain operational tankers are an important strength with A330 MRTT 13 plus KC-130J 2, and transports include A400M 24, CN-235 27, and C-130H 13, among others. Helicopters across the Air Force, Army, and Navy are numerous and diverse, with major types including SA-342 103, Tiger 67, NH-90 TTH 63, Naval AS-365 565 41, and other utility helicopter families, showing how France sustains expeditionary operations and joint service mobility. And now, before we close, here's the key takeaway you can say directly to your audience. This top 10 is not a beauty contest and not a prophecy of combat outcomes. It is a snapshot of active aircraft numbers and fleet composition, as recorded by a major directory, meaning the list is about scale and structure. The United States leads because it operates an unmatched combined aviation ecosystem across multiple services with huge numbers of helicopters, tankers, transports, and fighters. Russia and China follow with large inventories. Shaped by their geography and strategic doctrines, but with different strengths and limitations visible in tanker counts and aircraft mix. India's fleet reflects diversity and regional mobility needs. South Korea and Japan show high-tech fighter cores plus strong support and helicopter components suited to their defense realities. Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and France each demonstrate distinct fleet signatures shaped by procurement history, alliance relationships, industrial choices, and national mission sets. If you want to make this video more visual, you can animate each country's total number on screen, then rapidly flash the top aircraft types like a trading card for each air force. Fighters first, then tankers, then transports, then helicopters, because that structure helps viewers understand that air power is a system, not just a jet. And the truth is the most interesting part. The numbers show who is big, but the types show how they actually operate.